Status. Chill. Dozing along. I guess this inner wall really doesn't need to be there for the multiple units. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to re-engineer the chillers, compress them a little bit further when I build yet larger dozers. Yeah, fluid situation down at the base seems fine. Previously stabilized the famine. It's fine now. Food exists. Rebuilt some of the population. Power is doing all right. Swamp has returned to non-boiling state-ish. It's doing its best. Still some cooling problems with the steam turbine. This geothermal tap is almost running. Small problem of the tiny bit of trapped swamp lung escaped back into the atmosphere and is repopulated a bit. It's manageable though. We'll gradually purify all of that O2. There's no slime colony, no big slime colony to repollute the oxygen. So give it enough time, it will just clear off. Also, it won't be able to propagate into the cold zone. It's fine. And so we're going up. Up is underway. Plans to build. Space words. Which will mean our first bit of harnessing oil. Which I suppose needs a fair amount of thinking about. I guess once I've created this enclosure, I should be able to seal it off. Yeah, it'll be liquid oil will pool down there. And then the gas residue will have to be collected. I'll pull the whole room to a vacuum. Yeah, so this surface base is planned out as a thing to do. To get us closer to space, and then start thinking about developing space. Relocate primary facilities upwise to the sky. Or maybe I leave this oil alone for a moment and go after this oil instead. We're almost getting somewhere with this fella. I guess I should give it more coolant. Yeah, our whole swamp tap is getting ready to send liquid up to the new facility. I could divert some of the clean water that way. This cools down enough to operate for exactly so long as there is stank water there in the pipe. Yeah, I'll drain this cooling circuit off. And then I can recharge it from in here. pipe hill is an important part of just normal operating procedures of a healthy base. It's true. You watch it long. Your half-life of 2 days. I guess what I should do is run this through the purifier. Yeah. Because I know this gets things clean pretty reasonably. There we go. Janitor. Well, logistic dupe, which janitor is a natural subclass of. Thing mover. Carbon fridge, keeping cool, keeping stable, keeping entirely fine. Domesticated. Tame cat. Yeah, it's actually become too warm in there for some of that wood. Interesting. Yeah, that lung won't be able to survive. That's going to clear off. It will just prevent any additional lung from entering the general atmosphere. Refreshingly ominous. We're on schedule to like make sense of this base at around the time that it will be abandoned for the migration space-wise. Optimal, really. Pretty good emergency coal supply up here as well. A lot of coal, a lot of iron. We have options. Polluted oxygen seems to be heavier than stank air. If I liquefied it, it would become clean automatically. Now there's a thought. I don't need to redo any of that pipe then. Getting more liquid into the coolant tube will suffice. Now that's vision right there. Second base, third of bases. Anything could happen up in space. Space is filled with many perils, and that's all the more reason to investigate it. It seems like we're like way out at the edge of feasible commute times. Unless now is the moment to build a launching tube. Which it could be. How much plastic do I have? 17,000? Could reinstate my old tube station plan. probably shouldn't live on this wire, since this wire specifically is pretty occupied. This upper one, though, could take it. Yeah, set up a little junction like that. And then tube route can be something like this. Or, no, alright, can't bump into the vents. Launching station somewhere else. The footprint of the base doesn't accommodate tube very well. Yeah, the base is still hard at work re-establishing the oxygen backlog after that one power interruption occurred. Maybe set up my way station even closer. And alright, so the coolant transfer is working fine. That worked out. So now, destroy this bridge. Clothing is happening. Those are doing a fine enough job, slowly biting a chunk out of the swamp air. It'll work itself out. Dirt supply is kind of low. This is not a problem. That gets solved the moment that I open up the tube here. Once we finish ramping up extraction of this whole swamp reservoir. Dirt shortage with food shortage suggests that I should get myself more farm space. presence of anything at all gets in the way of the tube. Here's the problem. Everything that I have here is 4 reasons packed together pretty densely. No real leeway to go tube-wise. Let's get the chiller back up to full power. Delete more heat. I guess the natural in-between stopgap that I could do here, intermediary step, to shut down this suit checkpoint. And set up another way station here. Because dupes can clearly reach here in a reasonable span of time. So if I had somebody rebased to live out here in some kind of caustic hut, I have some tons of algae that could be put to use for like a temporary diffuser setup. Put together a little igneous hut. Yeah, I can build a little electrolyzer station out here. Yeah, the oxygen side of it can just be open air, and I will use it to oxygenate and pressurize this entire tunnel. Just kind of haphazardly. With the intended benefit being here, self-powering. It will run by tapping into our swamp pipeline. That's the other thing, making the swamp siphon stop idling and instead do something for the base. And I end up with a little local power supply just hanging out here. And then from that power and the fact that we have water coming up here, that's the foundation for getting a little bit of habitation going in the immediate vicinity. Yeah, because then, like, just across the hall, we can set up a small local bathroom. And that will actually need the ability to vent excess water back into the world. Might need to make this taller. That's a fair point. Though, I think the way this works, that suffices. As long as I ensure that there is a critical amount of air that is always stored up there. it's probably fine. That's my plant control mechanism. Just hydrogen needs to get down to at least here. That activates the pump to drive the generator. We'll need to prime this whole system. Yeah, and then I can set up a small amount of additional farming that lives up here. And just like that, the away base starts to take shape. Prelude to space camp. Look, sometimes your staging area needs a staging area. That's just how things go. So let's see here. These guys use 20 water a day. And I'm setting up for 10 of these. Yeah, so 333 grams of water per second, average. Provides enough flow to irrigate them. The water manages to not be terribly hot by the time it gets out here. And then after all the machinery's been installed here, I can put a block of wall there. And then be pretty confident that no seepage is going to occur. Don't have any surplus blossom seed right now. We're only just now finishing filling out the original farm. Good that the full chiller is running and has cut. Okay, we're having some power flicker again. Hurt that cat. This wire. Let me just prune this wire a little. Yeah, that wire is now exclusively that oxygen system. No other factors. That should be powered here, and this water pump may as well just be on the main line. Good, I'll turn the left chiller back off. We clearly need more raw electricity going on. But somehow this transformer is low priority by whatever math is used to route power through the lines. Power is strange. I don't really care about suit checkpointing up here anymore. Because biohazards are the main thing I'm concerned about with the suit checkpointing. Over here, things were a bit of a hot zone at the time, so that was a good reason to have people suited up. Working out all right, though. Turbine's turning over nicely. They're very diligent, our dupes. Just always out there pushing the limits. Hard workers. They do good work. Probably next day of work, though, we'll manage to get this hooked up. But what are you doing? Hmm. Maintaining my raw air pressure might be a better idea. I could just let the swamp air come in and start getting purified. That would add a lot to the pressure of the base. Alright, no, swamp geyser is erupting now. It is swamp month. Swamp air will howl. Just gonna shut off the incubators. Well, no, not that one. Not that one. Rethinking the entire power grid will be the big thing. That can come with the migration. Just snip that for myself. What happened to my ethanol? Did I really burn through all the wood? Volcano's back. Fresh gold. Hmm. Power situation certainly is. Do have that one fallback layer of power. Yeah, let's burn off this hydrogen backlog to help prop up our power situation. Just need someone to put the initial spring in the step. Fun chamber remains. There will be no founding of a second fun chamber until we've successfully gone up. When it's time for the future. One crab. A sign of the future. Local life support. Welcome to your new home, sheep. You chose this fate. And you've unchosen. Good work. Quick thinking on your part. Pump, why you gotta be like this? systems that almost work. That might be enough. Let's let it take a little bit of damage. That's easily repaired. There you go. Air pressure. Regional life support. And looks like main base is doing okay now that I'm digging into the backup here. Sage hatchling is not permissible. That's how you get incidents. Alright, good repair work. Thinking, close this place off, set up the power management station, and then have the boosted hydrogen generator sitting here, running off this electrolyzer, which should allow for some healthy margins for a little bit of local power. Just remove these, add a square of wall and a door, and then this becomes a thing. And then if I just take the people most involved in the construction project and make them live up here. Then we can hopefully get a lot of legwork done. Productivity. Unreachable dig. Or wait, is this thing especially tall? No, it's just the 4 tiles. Should fit exactly there. Weird. Yeah, compost heap in the back. Should put a carbon scrubber out here somewhere, but probably more like down here. Or it's a very low priority because that carbon gets to make its way like all the way down here first. Gets to lift all this chlorine up. Hey, chill. Hey, chiller. What's this, though? Well, we got left water going on here. Okay, it's just the viscosity of the water having a time. Just some serious chill occurring. A big thaw. Boulder went down. That's what's happening, right? Because I have this outlet here. There is an ice boulder that was accumulating. That managed to pop all at once. Devious. Right, this pipe isn't doing anything anymore. Although, the peril of moving anybody into a campsite like that is going to be that current morale is in great part propped up by the excellent bedrooms. A lot of that would be lost if I forced them to live in field conditions of any sort. Unless I plan around those luxuries in advance. Another option would be to populate the forward base with fresh dupes. Alright, hey water though, why aren't you continuing to propagate? Right, because at that moment you start thinking about things backflowing the other way and you get confused. Yeah, alright. I can remove this valve. I've primed the recycled water bathroom. It will do its thing forever. Right, that's the problem. Why did I lock this door? Why did this door lock? Well, there's an issue. Somebody suit up and go fix that. Main water pump that the base is relying on needs to be removed and replaced. Yeah, no water for the home electrolyzer is a bit of an issue. Why did this door lock? Set door to normal. Normal door. Do normal things. Just be open. Why are you closed? Sitting on the automation wire. Now it's fine. Oh, you're repairing it, aren't you? Don't do that. Destroy it. Destroy and replace. One available. Suit up. Unreachable dig how? It's already dug. Someone put sand in the sieve. I guess this up here can become a storeroom. Okay, pump is back. Water is up. We can get back to electrolyzing. Also farming. What is your problem? Take the water from the pipe. It's right there. Needed the pipe to back up first before they'd be able to take a swing at it. Weird priorities. When did you become attached to the grid? Well, that should help. At least air pressure held up during the base all throughout that. Now we have this new pressure bubble as well. Slightly closer to the surface. There, I can create some decent frontline apartments. The dangerous game of architecture near Slimelong. It's only a little plague.
Your lungs could be infected with slime at any time.
It's part of life. It's working as designed.
The dangers of slime.
The features of slime.
The wonders of slime.
Every moment of your existence an adventure.
If only you and everyone else around you just experience slime every day.
Imagine. Farm is overheating a little. Yeah, it's getting a bit of a thermal shock from the fact that we lost circulation. So this new water is much hotter than what the farm was used to previously. It's not didn't have as much of an opportunity to chill out.
So that seems pretty rough given your consistent and constant food shortages.
Yes. Shift away from the food supply that relies on dirt to the food supply that is sensitive to 12 other problems, but not dirt. It happens. You deal with it. No real problems, only opportunities. Going to need to cool down this area as well. Many a thing to do. You know, food crisis, crisis, power crisis, food crisis.
They're all the
Elaborate
same.
interlocking web. It's all one crisis.
Yeah. You can't say any one part of it is the one responsible for all of it. After all, it's all energy.
All heat's the same.
Mm-hmm. Now, the good news is that there's a bunch of carbon dioxide there, which will probably not allow the slime lung to exist in it, at least for a while.
Yeah, the lung doesn't spontaneously break away from, like, tile slime.
Yeah.
Lung is resilient in its own ways, though, having, completely bounced back and reestablished itself since the swamp boil. Even a moat of swamp remains, it will regenerate. We're gradually taking that back. Just gotta freshen it.
I was not aware of the swamp boil. This is new to me.
You weren't there for the beginnings of this geothermal tab.
I was not.
We have Ghoul Steam and Salt Geyser that we're allowed to just kind of pour directly onto this obsidian, this volcanic obsidian.
Right, and it made it very hot, I'm assuming.
Yes. For a time, this killed the slime.
Gotcha. But things are too, or at least for a while.
A single mote
They've been-
of living slime lung colony survived underwater, just
I
trapped
see.
in a gas pocket, which I then released while digging out this reservoir.
And the water is too hot for slime lung to exist in, but not the air, because I guess.
Yeah, slime lung actually doesn't thrive in liquid.
Oh, weird.
It is
Okay.
an airborne disease. It can only populate in air. It can kind of live neutral in solid slime. Or liquid slime. Okay, so if I extend this coolant loop, those are unreachable. Extend that coolant loop so that I can get the temperature back down in the bristle farm. That will moderate the temperature back down. And I should load more coolant in there. facilitate that. All of these antics will become unnecessary once we abandon the Alpha Complex entirely to retreat into space and build anew. In the next iteration of the facility, where everything will be done right from the ground up on the first pass, with no shortcuts taken. With everything very meticulously pre-designed to work right, definitely on principle. Maybe I just run an air conditioner in here, though.
What if?
No, I will trust the liquid system.
No shortcuts here. We refuse.
Liquid cooling is the more powerful option.
Mm-hmm.
And the infrastructure is already there, I just need to top off this pipe. Some kind of local cooling system. Well, let's see, how much power is on this wire now? 500 watts. The ice maker, well, the ice maker absolutely would fit in. The thermoregulator would just fit in. Just loaded this up with any gas and cycled. Could have my air conditioning.
The prequel to Chill Dozer. Thrill Dozer.
Throw a little thermostat in here. And a tiny gas pump. And slide in a layer of insulation underneath the farm. The hydroponic tiles, being made of metal, are very susceptible to conduction. Time for culling. Alright, valve open. Coolant up. 2 more. The other option being... Yeah. Just take this water and route it back around.
Chill on the map.
Apply the old temporary snip there. And let that standing water get circulated through the chilling pool. The joy of permanent food crisis. Good times for all. Alright, so this thing needs an outlet for its surplus water. thrust at all times deeper and deeper into tube hell. Call that a 7. It's fixing the farm temperature problem. That's highest priority activity right now.
Yeah. So creating a perfect planned community, I wonder how feasible that actually is in the end. You know?
Obviously entirely possible.
Because, like, I guess you do get closer every time, right? Like, things don't start to collapse until way later every time. But
Yes.
it's like, where's the mistake? It's hard to know.
Well, the couple of things that are called shots from very far ago, like the fact that here I was using something that would break at 75 degrees in water that was staying below 75 at the time, but is coming from a boiling source.
Okay. Yeah.
Steel pump will never succumb to that.
So you'd have to
And it was
replace
only
that.
the interruption in this water supply that caused it to become overheated.
Gotcha.
Whereas now, sloshing this water around back and forth in the tubes is going to give it a chance to become cold. Which will then cool the farm back down to operating temperature. Clearly, I need to harness more electricity so I can be operating the full chilling unit at all times, at full power.
Hey, food is decayed. That means you had food that was stored.
Food existed.
Yeah. Food decaying's a good thing. That means you had food to eat.
The numbers don't lie. Someone eat that crab.
I just call everything a crab. That's not at all a crab. Oh wait, that is
That
a crab.
one,
Okay.
that's a crab. The crab one.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the pufflet, alright? Latency.
It's proven that all forms of life approach crab.
Approach, but aren't exactly.
There is no such thing as a crab. Yeah, orb, on the other hand, is well known, well defined. No dispute on that. Yeah, their body temperatures are starting to drop. Heat will exchange, given time. Yeah, this one's almost alive again. Yeah, the problem there being that each cell managed to fill up with warm water, which must now be cooled back down. The work of many dozers. Everyone gets a suit. Morale solved. I could put one more charge of coolant into that loop. Among the things to include in next setup of the base. Implement the concept that I have here with this locked up section of pipe, but with a bit of automation wiring around it so that I can distill the process down to like a switch or two. Push a button, load the thing, push a second button, unload the thing. that can be realized as a smart process. The fact that I have all these incubators running means that actually I am generating enough calories, just in a way that's very inconvenient for the UI to handle. We have meat. Meat is known. Heavily insulated, air-conditioned room, screen door. It's fine.
I don't see why not, right? What could go wrong?
How else would you do that?
Yeah.
Look, one bristle blossom is alive again. Nice. Nice.
Useful and valuable.
It's not like the plants die off from having been overheated. They just hibernate perfectly. The rest of them will cascade into place shortly. Then the farm will be back, and life will be normal. So if I could get these frontline apartments set up. The important thing to come out of this is just how quickly I was able to go from nothing to a pretty reasonable bit of a foothold just from a water pipe, ultimately. Just having water pipe meant electrolyzer could be started up. Just burrow my way over to the ice pocket. That's how we'll get our... Oh, yes, also this ice pocket contains a friend. Dozer the Elder. I end up deciding I just kind of want to cheat at getting my liquid oxygen. My liquid hydrogen. Well, there it is. There's the thing. But for immediate purposes, yeah, just popping that open. That'll provide cooling to this whole area. Will the heat bubble its way over? A little bit at a time. Now we can see the statue. And an additional crab. There's the real find. Crab exist. Nisbet's real good at building. That's hardly any time at all to install a full insulated cube. Very effective. How is Nisbet's morale? Very positive. Nisbet can probably afford to move out into the sticks.
Having a great time here in Chilldozer orbits.
Planet from which Chilldozer. A growing community. Place of opportunity. And I could create a local dining hall for the folks who are living up here at the PlayStation. Look, the entire upper row has cooled off now. Look at that. Look at how fine things are at the farm. Half of the plants are alive again. Meaning what I should do is that. So that the lower water is now the part that's cycling. We prioritize cooling down here. And long term, this bigger cooling loop is going to do the work of trying to keep things under 30 degrees. We have hatch that are living to 40 days without getting eaten. Can you even imagine a healthier ecosystem than that? Impossible. "71-day-old sheep." It's just how abundant food here is. Just pile it up in a heavily guarded room and celebrate its abundance.
There has never been a shortage of food here in Gildozer Ordinance. Why would you think there was?
It's gonna end up being just a regular hall unless I put a recreational building in there. Like so. I think we can actually snap all of these airlocks open. Allow for passive circulation all the way up that tube. the important work of occasionally manually refilling the air purifier. For that free swamp oxygen. Hey Nisbet, you live up here now. This is home. As our architect, you are the one best equipped to take advantage of this wonderful new opportunity. And just like that, most of the lower farm is alive again. I should now be able to... Let's see, what's my total water consumption for this whole rig? Put this down around here. A little less at first, since they aren't all active again yet. Let's give them a moment. And now they're all alive. So, 600 grams a second. Actually a little bit more than that, but we'll let things even out. The point is the water gets a chance to pass through the chiller and arrive at safe temperatures, as it did before. Chlorine tube, though. What if I brought this out to the swamp?
What will Nisbet do without chlorine, right?
Well, there's local chlorine that we'll be tapping into as part of the development project.
Oh, thank goodness.
This is what finalized the site as being an ideal place for habitation. High pressure, hot chlorine vent.
Yeah.
Erupting periodically.
That is the single most important, part of habitation.
Yes. Basis of all life. Alright, power up our little air conditioner here. I should maybe be using insulated pipe for the air conditioner. That might help performance a smidge. Who else is really active up here on the news site? Okay, it's at least a mess hall now. Okay, yeah, good. Main bathroom is still running fine. And yeah, alright, yeah, that's Nisbet darting around, putting the insulated pipe in, using nearby material. Have this place down to temperature in no time. We can resume thinking about up. About space. Where there's power forever. The sun. For which I still need to make glass. And I'm actually kinda low on sand.
Wild.
This means I should start tapping into the regolith, obviously. Obviously. I could also invade one of these beach biomes. Get sand from there. And take a wheat boy. Always a fine piece of equipment. Should lay down the design for my real power plant. For the more real of the power plants, which will derive its means from space. The sand boiler. Not that I will boil the sand, sadly. If I went far enough in the other direction and found the real magma, I'd probably have the tools for that. That is its own thing, heating up some minerals enough that they melt and become generic magma. Is it good to do heat capacity shenanigans there? I'm thinking just take the hot rocks from space, put them in water, boil the water.
Seems smart.
Use some more gold amalgam. Managed to run myself low on it. Gotta dig up another swamp. Or finish digging up the swamp I already have. So I'm thinking this works. Just looking for a good volume to get it started in. Probably down here by the beach, down here with the salt water. That's farther away from the oil vents. We have a lot of nearby abyssalite to work with for free, near-perfect insulation. Somewhere near here. Or so, just to sketch it in the void. I might be able to get away with gold amalgam for the internal bits. I may as well just go with steel. Make it capable of immense strength. So, I'm thinking. So, a conveyor rail from elsewhere where I'm auto-harvesting hot meteoric dust. Drop said dust off onto a storage rack here. Right, it's another tile longer than that. Over top of it, you got your steam. And yeah, probably actually only need the one door then. So the principle I'd be looking for here is it could also be metal tile for the interior. So sand drops in here, does its thing. Or wait, no, for flow purposes. Yeah, just airflow, just mesh. And then sitting down below here is a grabber arm. Yeah, such that the auto sweeper cannot see what's going on up there. So I guess I may as well draw this in some open air so that I can test the lines of sight. Or it might not be able to, yeah, it doesn't predict them until the actual block's in the way, but it suffices to just kind of put it here to draw the idea. Yeah, so an auto sweeper down here such that it cannot see the upper chamber, but can see the lower chamber. Which is then in turn heavily insulated box. Sand comes in, lands on door. Thermostat decides when things have cooled off enough to drop the sand and have it taken out. And I could use a conveyor shutoff to also say that a chamber won't take in fresh sand until it is finished processing the sand it already has. I might actually try to build these above ground level in space. Or is there enough room to build my first prototype one just here in this vacuum pocket? There probably is. Where then I don't even need insulation for the outer shell because the vacuum is perfect insulation. I would just need an active cooling system for the turbine as it sits up here, doing its thing. And yeah, with that in mind, I do want insulation on the upper portion of this. Still. Because any heat that propagates out of the chamber into the body of the turbine is wasted. I can test this elsewhere in the base. Sweepers cannot see through an airflow tile. Or through mesh tile. Yeah, that was an instrumental part of the chilling experiments. So I might need to sink it back a bit further. Hold up. If I'm sitting here, then I can see around the corner. Yeah, I need to be at least one tile back. I need to be here. There will do. Yeah. Yeah, drywall will probably do well enough for the interior. I have to either coat it with drywall or temperature shift plate in order to prevent leaking into the vacuum. And conveyor receptacles can be sideways. Say hello to that. And then I definitely enclose the upper thing in a room. Because I actually do want that in contact with the world here. Like, your ideal circumstance would be to flood that with hydrogen and then also circulate material through it.
Space.
Space.
Incredible space.
Yes, I'll need to set myself up to deliver hot sand by rail line, drop it into the chamber, and then remove cold, well, still very hot, but no longer boiling sand.
Cold sand.
Yeah, the cold
Otherwise
sand.
known as glass. Regolith has more in common with just associated morph glass anyway.
Glassforge take any kind of thing, or does it demand specifically sand?
It might require specifically silicon-only sand, as opposed to the mixture that is the regoliths.
Yeah, it seems to only use sand. So I'll have to generate additional sand for glass making specifically by crushing rocks.
Regolith as...
Yeah, it's a filtration medium, so it can do all the normal filtering tasks.
Yeah, but you can't make glass from it. Alright. You can melt the regolith down into rocks first because it becomes igneous rock upon cooling back down. And therefore you can crush that into sand and make glass with it.
Yep.
You turn
That's the
it
option.
from... That's very strange.
That's the science right there.
Yeah. But yeah, that does mean that you can turn regolith into dirt over very long periods of time. Because it can turn, you can use it to sieve through polluted water, creating fresh water, but creating polluted dirt on the side, which you could then compost into regular dirt.
I have options.
Yeah. It is useful, the regolith.
Yeah, next question down the line for that becomes...
I'm pretty sure there's actually a pretty good amount of silicon in most igneous rock. I mean, why wouldn't there be, right? It's just because it's formed in... It's just molten, and silicon is relatively easy to melt as far as rocks goes. So...
Yeah, how well am I going to be able to extract... Treating the hot sand as fuel, how efficient is it going to be to have a robot dig it out, throw it onto a conveyor belt, and still expect to get value back from it?
Well, it's not going to be losing heat while it's up there.
In the space. No, it is
Yeah.
completely preserved up there. So if I had the concept of this unit, but up there, without any intervening heat-sinking environments to cause problems,
Mm-hmm.
Or if I created some manner of vacuum channel to bring things down. Yeah, on review of it, I don't think I'm going to seriously dig out here and construct this, but the existence of this sketch is helpful.
Yeah, you can use this as a reference for material for up there, basically.
This is a thing to do. And for now, I can get my emergency sand by smashing rocks.
It is kind of interesting that, to some extent, the Rock Crusher... It's like, the Rock Crusher's use in the end is mainly not... like, you use it early on to get access to purified metals a little bit more easily, but later on it's actually for the sand that you can make with it.
They introduce it as the bad metal refiner, and then you promote it to the good sand maker.
Sand refiner, yeah.
Just crush the rocks.
It's just kind of interesting how that's ended up how it works out. It's very nice that it's multi-tool like that.
We have lost power to the self-powering base. Neat. Just give it a jump. At least we have a hands-off cooling solution that is gradually going to do its work. Completely out of dirt. Not a single dirt in the entire complex. No active dirt in circulation, despite many heaps. Many high priority heaps. At least the dozer is powered up again and successfully regulating temperature again. Carbon fridge. So strong. What a champion. The carbon freezer.
It's so chilly over there.
An example for all to aspire to, the carbon freezer.
It works so well.
And we're putting a dent in the slime lung again. Just purifying the air will do it eventually.
Yeah, because it can only multiply at least in polluted oxygen. It can't.
Yes.
It can exist in regular oxygen, but it can't make.
It
any
has
more
a
of itself.
half-life in regular oxygen.
Right. Okay.
The fact that both are here means that there's an equilibrium point where germs propagate into the dying zone to die at a rate that's balancing out with their reproduction in the remaining stank. But then also, if I were to just start bringing this air inside and putting it in my my chlorine setup here,
Bubbles took damage then.
yeah, things are kind of hot. Things can be hot sometimes around here. Yeah, fight me, swamp. Come at me. This is also going to let us lower the air pressure in here. Air pressure in this swamp has been quite high all throughout the boiling period. We can bring that back down a bit. Yeah, I'll just loiter for a while in the chlorine bin. It'll come out and not even need to be freshened as it enters the base. That's free air. You know what? Mima also lives up here at the forward base. As one of our fresher dupes and an operator, she should be close on hand for when we need to fire up machinery.
Keeps
And
away from.
she
all
could
the
work a
bees as
grill.
well.
Also true.
Very disconcerting.
Just can't stand looking at. Okay, the air conditioner works now that the insulated tubing is on it. Air's coming out at 31, going back in at like 19. Still a screen door there. As you do.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's a screen door of gold amalgam, alright? Which means it's very, very conductive.
Extremely conductive. It's fine.
It's fine. There's nothing better at insulation than exceptionally conductive metals with holes in it.
Yes. That's just facts.
Yeah. That's nature right there.
This place does need slightly more power if we're going to if we're going to keep things running with the air conditioner there. Before the air conditioner, it was doing fine. The air conditioner is a problem, though. Think I will shut it off. Well, I can do that this way. Of just setting the thermostat to an unreasonable temperature that shouldn't happen. And we'll let the passive cooling take its chance. There goes Nisbet. Whoosh. Eggs. Just what we need. That's calories. Eat every one of those we can find. Alright, now open this up a little more, since you can see some of these are flickering a little. That's because the rate of flow on that pipe is just slightly lower than what actually keeps up with these guys. That'll be closer. Yeah, I do have a mech engineer. Someone should be able to do this. Alright, so that's a wave of crises created and then solved. All while continuing to spin in the general direction of space. Ah, nice. Meteors. They're here. Fresh dirt from the sky.
Space dirt.
So with this base up and running a little now, and not even accumulating carbon dioxide yet. That's managing to propagate its way down. It's catching up here. Which is, you know, not bad. I can address it once there's a significant amount of it. think I can abandon the blueprints for that habitation thing. Plans here will just be for whatever oil refinery setup I can consider putting together, which I think I would mainly rig up as a power generator, and then use that resulting abundance of electricity for going up. Because then I still need to, like... I need to make a lot of steel. And since I have oil, both the legacy oil that I had stored down here, and, well, the fresh oil that we found in the wild, I can set myself up to do a scheme, to do a little thermodynamic scam, and generate power by doing work, because that's the level of magic that dupes operate on. Where this amount of heat here produced for making a batch of steel, and also the amount for making a batch of iron, and I think even also just barely the amount for copper. Absolutely not the amount for gold. Gold is very inexpensive to make. This heat that you put into your coolant, if you take that coolant and throw it into one of these steam turbines, it will actually get back more watts than the metal refinery demanded. The refinery is a tiny magic box that gets more done than it should. So because of that, it can be a net exporter of power as long as you have a coolant that can get hotter than water, which that's what oil will do. Our crude oil boils at 400 degrees. You can very comfortably run that up to steam temperatures. As long as we have the material to put into it. Self-powering metal refinery. Gonna need a lot more lime. Which I can prop that up by excavating all this fossil from the oil biome as we go through it. The wild slicksters are also doing a good job of making free-range oil. There's a goodly number of them. I could also just let them eat the exhaust from my power plant. The exhaust and the warmth. They'd appreciate it. Ah, they're making long hair eggs. They're too cold. Gotta get in there and rescue them. So, next time, more of that. Back up into the scalding oil. The grand adventures to follow from it. Scalding oil for everyone. Free liquid lock, nice. Don't actually want that though, I'm gonna open that up. I'll sort some sort of shape out for that. Next time. Space is right there. Just gotta get up. Next time.
Next time.